Slack. I love my dad. He gets me this hat that says 2009 football SEC champions. And I'm like, man, SEC championship's awesome, but the national championship's where it's at. And guess what? At least we got this year.
Was that bad luck?
Maybe. I don't know if it was bad luck or if it was bad coaching.
Celebrating something that's not.
I mean,
crown.
It's a out of its crew, it's the biggest crown. Like out of that crew, you know. As far as like the conference championships, the SEC is the one, you know.
Did you get this before?
Yeah, like before the championship. And my dad, that was one of my Christmas presents. Yeah. Well, and it's not like. All right, here we go. Let me get in here and change this.
Where's Jalen Hurts going to transfer to?
I was thinking about that earlier. I don't really know, but
USC.
You think so?
We play next year. Why not?
Yeah, you're right.
Bring it on. Come on, Jalen Hurts. Like, is Bentley still there? Who cares?
Who cares?
Jalen Hurts is still there.
No, it's not. It's just.
Oh, shit. Never mind.
Yeah, it's literally just a stand for my phone.
No.
Let's see. Surprise.
He entered the draft portal. Or not draft portal, transfer portal. Something.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes USC, we will play them next year, right? But would he go to anywhere? Would he go anywhere inside the SEC? My thought was that, is he going to go to Auburn?
No. Okay. Are you allowed? Are you allowed to go in conference?
I don't really know. Is there rules against that?
Are there any rules? Period. Is it like
is
a free for all? Are you allowed to
go
in? Are you allowed to go in conference? I can see how that would be maybe one of those rules.
Yeah, it could be, but I'm not sure if so. The only thing. There you go. I tagged you in this. I'm getting all this stuff down. Yeah, the only thing that I can think is maybe there is some sort of rule against that. But dude, I just don't want him to go anywhere like and beat us. I just don't want it to happen. I feel like maybe. Hold on, I'm gonna start recording on audio here. Okay, I just don't want it to be like he goes somewhere and beats us, like for real. And for those listening on audio, you'll have to go to YouTube to find out what we were just talking about. But Jalen Hurts is the name on the table right now. Speaking of Hurts, my heart hurts a little, just a little though.
You're from South Carolina, man. Gotta be happy.
I am happy. I'm happy for the sake of the sport. Just like I said on Facebook, and you've heard me say it 1,000 times. I love Alabama, but I love college football more. Same deal as I love the Braves, but I love baseball more.
Adds parity.
Yeah, it does. It's good for the story. It's good for the 30 for 30. Like, I mean, it's really good for the 30 for 30. What would have been, me and Tyler had this conversation right after you left.
Dabo Saban story?
Yeah, well, the story of the Bama Clemson, the whatever it is, it'll probably be Roll Tigers. but whatever 30 for 30 is, I guarantee you that it will be like, it would have been better if Jalen Hurts would have come in at halftime and won the game against Clemson, like the ultimate comeback for Jalen. And that's another thing that I wanted to say.
But instead, he got benched until like halfway through the fourth quarter.
And then he couldn't do anything. The momentum was too high.
Momentum's too far gone. You're down by like fucking 25 points.
Clemson was rolling. There was nothing we could do.
What are you going to do? So now he's transferring.
Of course now he's transferring.
Does he even have time? Does he have 1 year left? What does he have left?
I think he was a junior.
Junior, so he could enter the draft, but he's got another year left eligibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wants to make his name. I think he wants to raise his
Stock
with
value.
people like Trevor Lawrence in the league, and obviously Tua.
Well, at least he's going next year, not year after. I mean,
Yeah, true story. But here's the thing that I wanted to say too, and get your take on. Is that Nick Saban was defeated very early on. He was defeated very early on. You could just tell, like, to go in and put our third string quarterback in on a fake punt, a fake field goal attempt, instead of taking the 3 guaranteed.
didn't Georgia try the same shit?
Yeah, and Clemson lined up for it. They lined up for the thing that we were trying to pull, and that's just I thought that was bad. I thought that was poor coaching, and I know that's a very, very shaky thing to say about Nick Saban. But I'm not trying to blame the game on him.
I won't say it was like a poor coaching thing. Like Nick Saban was able to pull off like miraculous bullshit onside punts and fake this and one thing or another. Where every time he pulled them off, everyone's like, he is the greatest coach ever.
Yeah, but
that's
when
how
it
they
goes
beat
wrong,
Clemson. That's how they beat Clemson the first time. This time, like it's interesting. Like we've talked about before, the pipeline. They're getting good athletes.
Yeah, they really are.
Like they really are. They're just really making plays. Like that whole entire game, Clemson made plays.
Dude,
Clemson made plays.
They were playing on God mode, man. They really were. Like they didn't score on like 2 drives, and they scored on like every other drive, man. Like that was just. It was probably, dare I say, the most efficiently run offense. Think about all the NFL starters that are on the defense on Alabama right now. How many NFL starters?
Just went 2 of them.
Like seriously, how many NFL starters did they destroy? Old number 92, Quinnen Williams, or isn't his name Quinnen? I can't remember his last name. It might be Williams. But seriously, NFL starters,
okay,
and they just destroyed them.
Do you think for the first time that, like in all actuality in the last decade, that there's actual parity in college football?
In the last decade, not really. It's just been Alabama after Alabama, pretty much.
It's been Alabama after Alabama, but right now, do you actually think that there's parity?
Oh, 100%. I've said it was good. I've said it was good for the sport. I mean, who better to... That's the whole thing. Is it not God? Is this not just? Is that why the story is so good? Because it's the old timey story of good versus evil.
It has become like a Goliath, David.
Yeah, the dragon has been slain in a big way.
And Sir Lancelot.
Yeah, no shit. The sword and the stone.
That's what Trevor Lawrence is. Trevor Lawrence is Sir Lancelot.
Yeah. We
King
played
Arthur,
really good
King
football.
Arthur, and Sir Lancelot, man.
Exactly.
Slaying dragons and shit.
Trevor Lawrence could be and it could have just been his game. But by everything that I saw him do in that game leads me to believe that he could outshine Tim Tebow.
Everyone thinks he's Elway already.
Dude, I got a notification this morning that said that said that Trevor Lawrence will win one of 2 Heisman in 2019. He will win one of 2 Heisman I'm like, are you really? Already? That's like they're ready to give Zion Williamson a ring already.
No, that's real. If he goes undefeated next year, he's got the Heisman. Mm-hmm. Like, without, like, I don't give a fuck right now. Like, really, if he goes undefeated next year, I'll call this right this moment. If they go through undefeated, unless he gets hurt,
He looks like he plays smart, though. He don't really take a lot of chances, did he?
He runs a lot, man. He does run a lot. He runs a lot and, like, backs into running. That's it, like, personally, like, just watching someone's game. And, I mean, I don't mean shit. I don't matter. Yeah. But, like, watching someone, he does run a lot and kind of runs haphazardly. He's big.
He doesn't think much of it.
Do that-ish. He can kind of do that. But you might get hurt doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, you might catch a dome shot and be out. Like, he already got out for a concussion once this year. Thinking about that, like that happened already. Like, now that I think about it,
Well, you got to think too that he's still playing with that high school mentality, where he's not playing against college play. He's not playing against this caliber of player, and he's still playing like he's against these high school kids that he was playing last year.
You're playing against torpedoes, dude. Like coming out straight after your
missiles.
Yeah, like
100%.
They're coming to knock that helmet off. This was the 90s.
But listen. Is there a better defense in college football? Maybe. Is there a better defense in college football than what Alabama has?
Apparently Michigan, but
that's what I was just about to say. Other than Michigan,
I'm just saying that's off of like a ranking, but they didn't really show a whole lot. So,
bro, Trevor Lawrence ripped us apart. They ripped us apart.
But so did
Steven Garcia.
Steven Garcia.
That's what you was going to say?
No, I wasn't going to at all. I actually sounded like an absolute, like, horrible, the most stupid, we'll get them next year, Bluff Road Football Club fan. Gamecock Nation. No, really.
We'll get them next year.
I'm not a fan. I don't think that this person is the greatest quarterback ever. But Bentley ripped them apart for like 500 yards. No, I mean Clemson.
Jake Bentley?
Yeah. I'm surprised Tua would like.
Yeah.
You all just locked it down. Did anybody? The only God, Lord, now I think about this. The only two were they losing ever again this year at halftime?
Yeah, Alabama?
Citadel and
Citadel and Clemson. You called it. The Citadel was the one that exposed our weaknesses.
That was it, man. Get those Carolina athletes.
Here's the thing that gets me, though, man. We did so well running the ball. Why did we have to put the ball in the air to allow those pick sixes and those those interceptions? We ran the ball so well.
Okay.
We were averaging like 7 yards a carry, bro.
Ooh, interesting. The one time that like Saban relies on a big gun,
it blows up in his face.
It blows up in his face.
The first time he tries to do that, I can dance like the young kids do now. No, sir. Just go with what fucking works.
Pound her ass for 6 yards a carry.
Dude, seriously.
Straight down the field, control the clock, and have a monster defense. Everyone on your defense is going in the league.
Everybody in your defense is going to the league. Your starters,
everybody.
Your starters right now are going to be starters at the next level.
All of them
in the first year, probably.
Hell, if you were like to be like I was a backup corner at Alabama, you will probably be in the league.
Yes, 100%. You will You will start in a lot of these fucking programs, and I'm telling you, man. Why? And I'm not trying to go back and say, well, if we would have done this, I'm not a better coach than Nick Saban. That's foolish. But I will say this. I would have done so many, and like I would have noticed something working. And somebody made a good point of this.
Okay, let me ask this.
Okay.
And you mentioned this at one point in time talking to you. Do you put Jalen in at halftime?
Yes. You can ask Tyler Israel.
One, to give it to him to see what he does with it, because obviously the first half didn't go right. Do you not, out of pride, because then you're like, we can make those adjustments, and you feel like, okay, we're going to put it in your hands and let for you save us, is like a... Do you know what I mean?
Here's my thought. I feel like Jalen Hurts earned his right to pick up that football at halftime.
Did he not through pride?
Yes.
Like, we can out-coach.
Well, you know what, man?
Like, we can make the adjustments during halftime, or do you go into it with the whole... Because he lucked out through injury.
Yeah.
The last time.
Either...
Do you balls up and make that choice again, like you did in a national championship game?
Yeah.
And concede in a sense where it's like our starting choice didn't work out. so we're doing this. Or do you like, we're going to make the fucking adjustments. Fuck you, Dabo. We're going to go with what we were going to go with. We're going to make the adjustments. We're going to come out slanging on you. Wrong. You didn't.
You can ask fucking Tyler Israel, who sat right there on that couch while I sat here right here where I fucking sit and watch TV and watch this game. And I said, we are killing y'all right now on the ground. And he agreed. We were at that point, I heard the announcer say it, I think we were averaging like 6-something yards a carry. So we went and averaged 6 yards a carry, and we keep putting the ball in the air. And putting the ball in the air is what hurt us. That killed us in that game. 2 picks, one of them for a touchdown. That is not healthy. That killed us in that game. We put Jalen Hurts in that game. What's Jalen good at?
Running.
That gives us an extra. We got a 3-headed monster with Najee Harris and Damian Harris. And what's the other kid's name? Doesn't matter. The other guy who's just an absolute monster. You give us an extra running back, Jalen Hurts, we win that game. You get him in there at halftime and give him a drive to warm up and not just throw him in when the game's already over. I feel like Nick Saban owed Jalen Hurts more than what he got.
Who's left playing whose game?
You mean Dabo or Saban playing each other's game?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Did Dabo learn how to play Nick's game better, or did Dabo learn how to beat Nick's game?
When was the last time that Alabama tried to have a prolific quarterback, a quarterback that might win the Heisman?
Never. We've never had a quarterback. We've had a quarterback who was somebody's kid. Like, he was somebody's nephew.
And won championships.
Doing that. You know what we had every year?
Giant backs.
Mark Ingram. We had Sean Alexander. We had fucking Trent Richardson, Bo Scarborough, Eddie Lacy, Derrick Henry. You like those names, America?
That's what you won championships on.
You are Pete Carroll, Nick Saban.
You would always have.
Did you hear that?
You would have a monster back, one good receiver that would make it to the league, but you'd have one good receiver and a quarterback that didn't turn the ball over.
One good receiver who is 100% within 15 yards.
And could stretch the field.
Exactly.
You might have one tight end that would show up every once in a while. You don't need him, but every once in a while he's going to hit you.
You are Pete Carroll, Nick Saban. You can win by running the ball. You can win the Super Bowl by running the ball, and you choose to throw it. But is that a Tua thing though? They probably had to change their entire, they were trying to play that West Coast offense thing now, because that's what everybody else in the league is doing. But that's just not Alabama football, is it?
Who was their offensive coordinator last year?
Fucking Sarkisian, Lane Kiffin, Sarkisian. All those West Coast guys.
That's like a big take on them, just as far as listening to pundits and whatnot, talking heads, that they don't have any cohesion with a steady offensive coordinator.
Well, yeah, not only that, that's what I was just about to say earlier when you had something you wanted to get out. But, they're saying that Dabo has such success in Clemson because his coaching staff has been his coaching staff for they're consistent. Dude, Nick Saban runs through
Venables, right?
Yeah, Brett Venables.
He's highest paid assistant in college football.
I will say this: that Dabo takes a lot less money to keep his coaching staff around, and
less change. That's the one thing about and rarely do you see in that industry with such high turnover, someone's given the opportunity to build.
By the way, did you catch that Suge Knight reference in the post game with Clemson?
Mm-mm.
Player got up there and said, "Any of y'all get tired of your coach coming up all in the locker room dancing? Come to Death Valley."
Really?
Yep. Did you not notice that? You of all people would appreciate that more than anybody in the world. I'm not gonna lie. As an
I
Alabama fan,
heard them say that they had done some kind of, and I didn't know that was the exact.
Dude, he got on. That was the last thing that was said before
yelling and shit. It was so hard to hear.
That was the last thing that was said before that segment was over. Was him getting on the mic and saying, "If all of y'all getting tired of your coach all up in your locker room, dancing, come to Death Valley." And just walked away, and then the camera, like the segment was over, and that's how it ended, dude. It was. As an Alabama fan who was very upset that the game was over and we got beat California. So bad in California, he says this. You got to look that up.
Yes.
Hold on, I'll find it right here. Excuse me. Here you go. Clemson players channel Suge Knight while celebrating.
Channel Suge Knight.
What was that?
On my phone.
We on the West Coast. We on the West Coast. We on the West Coast. It's Cleveland Farrell, man. Hey, a lot of y'all might understand this, but if you want to come, for any of the recruits out there, if you want to come to a program where you got to worry about your coach, all up in the locker room, dancing, come to Death
Valley. How you like that? That's great.
It's the Source Awards.
Nah, but for real. If you don't want your coach all up in your locker room dancing.
Dabo's all in the locker room dancing. I mean, what are you talking about?
They just try to be clever.
I get it, but you know.
I don't know. Here's the thing, though. Does that really
one more line in there to make it like relevant somehow?
Yeah. But do you think that has a lot to do with maybe Dabo and Clemson doing nothing but excelling? Because he's just keeping that. Like, here's the thing, and I heard Tiki and Tierney say it the other day that when he called him all shucks, he was like, man, he's just got that all shucks mentality where, you know, we want you here because of who you are, not because of necessarily how good of an athlete you are, but we want you here because of who you are as a person. And appeals to that side of them rather than how good of an athlete they are.
I would say he's Lou Holtz, but has a better record.
Much better. Well, dude.
He has more championships.
Bro, Lou Holtz wishes that he could be Dabo. I mean, well, right now probably just for the age factor, but
No.
but he wished that he could be as successful as Dabo. Now here's the thing. After Dabo's won a second championship at Clemson, how soon do you think he's going to come to Alabama now?
He won't. He has a career position.
I know, but he's going to come to Alabama eventually.
He'll be. No, he's Bobby Bowden.
Is he? He's going to finish his career in Clemson.
You would be dumb not to.
Yeah, they're going to pay him all he wants.
You're in a college. Yeah, you'll pay him whatever he wants. He's in a lockdown position where you have the ACC
on
its knees.
At least for the next decade.
Who's going to compete unless you get snuck up on?
Now it's going to be. Is Clemson going to be the new Alabama? The Alabama of this next decade, to where everybody's just going to be sick of seeing Clemson in the next decade now.
What should happen is that you should have an Alabama in every conference.
Yeah.
You kind of do. You have Ohio State. We'll see how that goes now.
Yeah.
But you did. Ohio State or Michigan, we can get in that conversation of whether Michigan, what the hell is going to go on there.
Michigan's going to be fine.
You would think that Jim Harbaugh's got that pipeline and would be rock and roll, and he kind of is, but he kind of ain't. Who knows what's going on the West Coast? Chip Kelly did for a while.
The West Coast is not where it was, man.
No, Chip Kelly did for a while. He left, and then you just discover that, you know. Things are magical. I think that's what Dabo, I hope, and I do think that Dabo realizes that sometimes you just have like a magical combination of everything that's going on at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, it's not necessarily you. It's not necessarily, it's everything. It's like the magical equation.
Wonder if that's how it works. He walks in the house and says, son, do you want to beat Alabama? Is that his recruitment?
Now it is. Son, do you want a ring? Like,
Yeah.
I've got a couple of them. Which one do you want? Which one do you want to look at?
He walks in the house, pulls
not
his
quite
jacket
Nick
off,
Saban,
kicks his
yeah.
shoes off, takes his rings off, sits them on the coffee table, lays
Hands
down,
one
takes
to
a
the
nap.
mom, takes a nap, and sips that orange Kool-Aid
Yep.
or purple.
I only
whichever
drink
one.
orange or purple.
Only drink orange or purple. You can keep that red. Keep that red back there. Won't have anything to do with that. We don't like that dark red Kool-Aid around here in my house.
Yeah.
But, man, we love that orange and purple.
That's right. He drinks only orange or purple Kool-Aid. Man, that probably ruined it for us, too, because I drank
Chick-fil-A.
purple Kool-Aid that game.
You jinxed yourself. That's some bullshit. You should have poured that shit down the drain before the game even started.
Yeah. I jinxed myself hard, too, man. I just... Because I felt like...
to win. You knew they weren't going to. You didn't want them to win.
Yeah, I know. But see, it still sucks, though, because the reality, I can say on up into the game, oh, man, we really need to lose for the sake of the game. It's time for us to step down. It's time for the sake of the sport. It needs to happen. And you've heard me say that 1,000 fucking times.
Who goes higher in the draft, Tua or Lawrence?
Who gets drafted higher? Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence hasn't thrown 2 interceptions and a pick 6 in the national championship. Unless we can get him to do it next year.
Who is he? I wonder if he's throwing a pick 6 all year.
Dude, I don't know. Dude, he's accurate, and I know that his throw velocity is like 66 miles an hour, I think, and average NFL quarterbacks like 49 or 50 something.
I saw one.
My
thing
sinuses
that,
are fucking killing me, man.
I saw one thing at the combine. They've only been doing it for about 10 years. Rough estimate. Jameis Winston was number 5. He threw like 56 and change. The leader threw like 60 and change. And some game, like I don't know if it was Syracuse game or which game it was, but it was some game like 4 weeks from the end of the season. He had a throwing velocity of like 66 miles an hour. He was a freshman.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
That's insane. That's just
Throwing
fucking unreal.
gas.
And you know what's? It's probably because he got those tiny arms that just sling them.
Like a Major League Baseball pitcher.
Yeah. Satchel Paige. The less muscle, the harder you could throw the ball.
Well, that's what he's just
figuring to sling it.
you know. It'll be interesting because if he puts on size, if he'll be able to throw. Like, that is one thing. Like, he does have a frame to put on size.
Yeah. But then that's moving him into a different position.
But then if he were to, would you then have the same
Mojo.
throwing mechanics,
Yeah.
same velocity, same elasticity, all that kind of shit when it comes to throwing? That's why you don't see, like, jacked up pitchers. They're all just, like, lanky and long.
Yeah.
Like string beans.
Or Bartolo Colon, who just lets himself go.
yeah,
He looks like me out there on the fucking mound.
Or guys like that. Which winds up being, like, a lot of times those people are, like the best hitters and shit. Because it really doesn't come down to, like, it's that whole turning of the weight.
Just putting your weight behind it.
Like, turning of the
You
weight.
get a good hit.
Whichever way the weight is, whether it's,
Yep.
like, jacked up weight or whether it's
Yeah.
ham bone.
Use what
like
you got.
it is.
Use what you got. Babe Ruth did it with hot
Kirby
dogs.
Puckett.
Kirby Puckett. Fucking, what's his name? Old, was it the Cleveland Indians or Cincinnati Reds he played for? Big man. Phil Crook. You remember him?
Kruk, white dude.
Phil Crook.
He played for the Phillies, didn't he?
Yeah, there you go, Phillies. Yeah, I know it was a red jersey. Well,
Phillies.
red letters anyway.
Yeah, one ball. Didn't he have like testicular?
I don't know, man. I know that he did. I know that he did. I know that he did sports announcing for years afterwards.
I wonder what causes that.
Probably, I don't know. Probably keeping your phone between your legs when you drive.
or headphones and the phone because I heard all that static just a second. I was like,
It does it whenever you touch with the touch screen technology. Is like it'll make it crackle like that. But no, man, you get big guys like that who can play the game forever, and they're like, shit. Look at how big Poppy was. You think he's running laps?
they'll laugh at you.
Dude, really? Like, you think he's doing cardio? You think he's dude? There's a picture of Babe Ruth like being carried off the field after being told to practice cardio. Like, he was just so give out he couldn't breathe. There were two men literally carrying Babe Ruth off the field after he's trying to run laps. Like,
That's testicular cancer.
Phil Krupp.
In '94, during spring training, he was diagnosed.
That's a bummer.
John Kruk.
John Kruk.
John Kruk was with the Phillies.
Oh, that's where I was getting the feel from then.
Phil.
Let's go with that. But nah, yeah, John Kruk, big dude. Yeah, those guys can play the game forever. In baseball, that's possible in baseball. Like, you could be out of shape and be
Till you
a
play your balls off.
Yeah, well, exactly, literally. I mean, that's a little below the belt. No pun intended. But anyway, so
Don't you think Barry Bonds should get ball cancer? If anyone's got ball cancer, Barry Bonds should get ball cancer.
I mean, I ain't trying to curse nobody with anything, but I do think that it should be taken into account that he did something that everybody else was doing.
But
He
would that
just
be the
happened to
irony?
want to get. Yeah, it would be ironic.
I love that meme that's like going around now. It's called
Shit.
God Lord, who's the guy? The old time commentator, sports commentator.
Oh, Stuart Scott.
No, white dude, way before then.
Oh, Boomer. I mean,
No, way before.
Swami.
No, way before. Like OJ status.
Wait, you got to give me more hints than that.
Howard
Howard
Cosell. Howard Cosell. And he's standing there with OJ and Caitlin.
Oh, Bruce.
And it says, I have looked in the future and you will not believe this shit.
I have seen the future and you will not believe this.
And you will not believe this.
That's fucking accurate. Dude, what if he would have leaned over and said, you're going to be a woman one day and you're going to kill yours?
I saw another one today. And I don't know how real this is. I mean, you'd have to back channel all this kind of shit. But it said Buffalo's season the year before they drafted OJ came down to one play.
Yeah, I heard
And
that.
that play failed. And they lost. So thus, when they lost, they got a high draft pick. Drafted OJ. OJ met Nicole.
So if that play didn't happen and set into motion all these different things,
You would never
Nicole-
have the Kardashians.
oh my God, you're
That's
backtracking
what
the whole
that's-
thing.
That's what it came down to. You wouldn't have the Kardashians.
Did you ever watch the thing?
What
The
thing?
Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Yeah.
Where they mispronounced their name? Like they didn't even know how to say their name?
Sure.
Fucking Ross Kardashian.
Robert Kardashian did Ross. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ross.
It was, I don't
Hey.
know.
They're good at marketing.
But then we wouldn't have all these great. Then we wouldn't have all these great Kanye breakdowns, though.
I love Kanye.
Well, you about to get him on a podcast, man. He's about to do a long form with Rogan. They're both on board.
Awesome.
They're both confirmed. They both tweeted that it's going to happen. So it's going to happen. That's going to be awesome.
Didn't Robin never do one?
No, I don't know if Robin's ever done a podcast before. But that would be a hell of a podcast to listen to,
That'd be a
though.
good one. That'd be an awesome one. Robin was my favorite people ever.
Why was on paper? Why was he your favorite? Like, I mean, on record, why was he your favorite?
Okay. Robin didn't as far as athletically, didn't come up through your major routes. He went to community colleges and this kind of shit. And Odessa, something, whatever, another. I don't know.
Odessa Permian.
Yeah, something like that. It's some kind of crazy shit. and wound up being possibly the greatest rebound ever. Has 5 rings, I think. Complete counterculture to what the NBA was. Like what you had. That's why, like, really, those Bulls, like, we talked about that one day just joking around.
Yeah.
Like, that Bull, like, he was a complete counterculture. Like, to
Yeah,
what
he
Jordan was, and Jordan was industry, and been, you know, Nike, and this.
Rodman
the
was shot culture.
The establishment. Rodman was the complete opposite.
Shot culture.
And still was able to monopolize upon it. You know?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, 22 years later, and I'm still talking about.
Nobody done that.
No. And
Ain't nobody been him.
And then through the weirdness of him and The Apprentice and Young Cum Eun's,
Yeah.
whatever, you know, his love of basketball and the
Yeah.
Bulls. Like, dude, yeah.
Picture him in a Rodman jersey.
Yeah, picture him totally in a Rodman jersey.
Number 28.
Like that movie, The Interview.
Yeah.
He's just throwing stuff off the background, or off the backboard, I mean.
Yep.
Snagging rebounds.
Yep. Rodman.
Playing basketball by himself, like throwing a pass out, going to go get it, like he's 12.
That was real. And we talked about that too. I think in one of the sports talks before, we stated that Dennis Rodman deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for doing, I mean,
Huge things. Huge.
I'm telling you, they're so big, you've never seen anything like this. They're huge. You've never seen anything like this. But anywho, I don't really know a whole lot about what's going on in the NBA right
Nothing's
now.
big as college football.
Nothing as big as college football.
Nothing's going on except for Clemson.
Nothing as big as that. That's the biggest story in the world.
Yeah, this is the biggest story in the world.
Clemson's losing already committed 3 starters. 3, I think, defensive starters. I heard that earlier tonight. A lot of coaching changes in the NFL going down. Bruce Arians is going to Tampa Bay. And what's his name? Kitchen getting a job in Cleveland.
I was just about to say that.
All right.
I think they should have left, like,
They should have let the interim guy take it.
dude, they're like digging you. Like,
They were playing hard for that guy. They were winning. Listen.
they
whether
almost had a winning season.
Not only did they almost have a winning season, every single game they lost. Did they get blown out all year at all?
Once. I think it was one time.
And to who? By who? Maybe. Doesn't really matter.
I think they got beat one time, like really beat. Like the first 4 games all went in either overtime or about a field goal.
Yeah, I mean they were in
And
every
then
game that they lost.
had after that, it was pretty close. I think they really got beat, but like one game. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, I mean I want to see what the record was for this year. Yeah, well, okay, give me that. Like
6-8-1.
What? Oh Jesus, this is an old article. See, the internet is there's too much information here.
Played 16 games in the season.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it just...
7-8-1. Was their season? That was their.
Yep, they tied
7-8-1.
the Steelers.
Because if they won one last game, it would have been 8-7.
The best record. Okay, their best record since 2007. All right, here's the thing. I don't think anybody's leaving. Nobody left the Browns except the coach. And I think their interim coach is still there, correct? He wasn't the guy who came in and fired everybody. I think that was the dude at was
All that went down today.
that on the Miami thing. Oh yeah, all that went down today. That was him and somebody else got a job in who was it? I think Mike McCarthy might be going to New York for the Jets.
Where did the the Bears defensive coordinator go? Was he
Wasn't that the guy who went?
to the Browns?
No. Was it? I could be screwing this whole thing up. Let's see here. All right. So Freddie Kitchen, who was from
Vic Mangio.
Nick Mangio. So where did he come from?
Vic Mangio's off Browns.
Greg Williams.
Or not the Browns, the Broncos. What the hell am I talking about? Can't even read. Yeah, he went to go coach the Broncos.
Huh. Dude, all right, so here's my deal. I'm stoked with how the Browns played. I could very well be a Browns fan, only because of the story.
America's team.
Well, it's like, you've been made fun of. It's like the kid who keeps getting bullied, but then he hits that growth spurt and he gets bigger than everybody. And finally it's like, oh, well, he's starting to hit back now. And then it's like eventually you're going to get beat by this kid that you bullied all these fucking years. And I love that story. And I think that that's what's going to happen. And you know what? Who better to do that than with Baker Mayfield? So a kid who literally just has been kind of a dick. He was like that kid on Ballers. Like he was a Johnny Football. But I really think that he got somebody in his head, some old veteran that's like, hey, kid, if you want to make it in this game, you got to do a certain thing. And I believe he straightened his act up.
Well, he has the locker room behind him. That's one thing. That's his advantage. He has a locker room behind him. It seems.
Yeah.
Is that whatever he's doing, he's not doing it in the arrogant sense. Like I watched an interview with him and Colin Cowherd last year before the draft. And Colin Cowherd was trying to call him out and being like a me person, and picked out like 5 seconds from a video, and he called him out. It was like, you're picking out 5 seconds of a video. I threw a touchdown to him, ran over there, and then sprinted off somewhere. You're not even showing where I sprinted. That's the student section with our band and everything else. You want to show one thing. You didn't show the other 3 touchdowns where I was in the end zone.
Yeah.
We're whipping the hell out of someone, and I'm getting the hype with the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is all this is about.
That's all it's about.
And Colin Cowherd didn't want to show that. The thing, it seems that one thing that Baker Mayfield has is that he gets his team, he rallies around his team, and his team rallies around him.
He gains their respect.
Very much.
And that's a huge thing in an NFL locker room.
The biggest.
If you get that, you could do anything. And man, I really just think that he knows LeBron ain't in Cleveland no more. Listen, Cleveland ain't got a boy.
You're the biggest show in town.
You're the biggest show in town. You are not, like, LeBron's not there anymore. There's nobody else taking that stand. It ain't Colin Sexton who had to wear a Clemson jersey yesterday.
I asked Janessa this, and I asked a couple other people who we know that are from that area.
Yeah.
What would you rather see? Because you have the hierarchy of sports in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Broncos, Indians, Cavs. Just as your everyday...
Browns, Indians, Cavs.
What did I just say?
Broncos.
What the hell am I talking about? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Browns.
Yeah.
Indians. Cavs.
Yep.
What would you rather see? A Browns playoff win or a Cavs championship?
I guarantee you she's at a Browns playoff win.
Absolutely.
Every one of them will say that.
Oh, absolutely. They all did. Like, everyone who was from that area, they're much more of a football fan than they are an NBA fan. They said they would much rather see a Browns playoff win or a playoff run than
Absolutely.
an NBA championship. They could care less.
Yeah, nobody gives a
You're
shit
like
anymore.
third on totem pole.
Nobody gives a shit anymore, dude. It's like LeBron James. He's took them there. Everything. This championship probably don't mean shit to them no more. They've been in the dance every year. They've gotten there. They've gotten their
You
greatness.
think
in that.
maybe that's why he left? Because he realized that like bringing a chip to the land really didn't mean that much because it's not.
It's like that we hear.
Football.
Okay, we're here every year. It's like maybe was he jealous of how shitty the Browns were? Is that inevitably what we're saying?
That's what the Cavs were.
Well, I think that he, I don't know. I think he left because his wife wanted him to, and I heard somebody talking about how much the wife has to do with choosing where you work. And it's like usually the first couple of times it's for me. You know, I need to make this decision for my life. I need to do this or whatever. No. And then when you realize, okay, I've been making all the decisions, and yes, I do make basically all of the money. I am not running this family by myself, so I'm going to ask you, what do you want to do? What do you think? Wasn't the first time when they went to Miami, did she pick to go down there and hang out with Gabrielle Union all the time? Was that on her? Maybe not. I think his wife picked.
It would be that would be a hard lifestyle, man. Like I've thought about that a lot. Like being a major league baseball player or basketball player.
Yeah.
I guess hockey would be the same because they play the same amount of games. Like that would be a hard lifestyle because you play 40-some road games.
Yeah.
Over the course of
180 days, basically.
7 months, yeah, something like that, 180 to 200 days.
Yeah.
That would be a super hard lifestyle, man.
Yeah, it would be. I couldn't do it. I could not move around that much.
Carry on a family and all that, like, you know, even if you're back for 41 games,
yeah,
half the time you're still practicing. Those days, your game days, are not like they're off days. Like, you might wake up at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, maybe.
That's the thing about it. Like, everybody talks shit about baseball not being as physical of a sport, but I don't think they understand that you are like 162 games in a year, like 162 games, half of those games, you're going to be on the road.
Yeah.
Like you 80 days in 160 days, you're going to be in a different city than home.
It winds up being a weird mind-numbing thing, I bet, where it's like you're playing 81 pickup games in other cities.
Yep.
Where it's like, we got to win, but like, if it gets really competitive, then we get serious, but...
Yeah.
It's kind of like an NBA regular season game. You know what I mean? Where
exactly.
It's like, we're just playing a bunch of pickup games all over the fucking country. And
yeah.
At this point in time, if I'm not like... if I didn't recognize what floor I'm on and
you just lay there, you don't know what you're doing, you know, what city am I in?
Yeah, if you didn't recognize the team that you're playing on, all of a sudden it's like they're wearing some mixed up jersey for that special day that says like Los Spurs or some shit. You're like,
now
where am I for a second? Like why are the Knicks wearing green jerseys? Oh shit,
we're in Boston. Fuck.
We're not in. Oh, it's St. Patrick's Day. Like, yes, like we're in Boston.
Oh, shit. Where are we again?
The Knicks have on green. No, never mind. We are in
Boston. It says Madison Square Garden on the floor.
God, where am I?
Dude, I wonder if that's what makes a great basketball player that, or a great baseball player that. The one that it just doesn't matter where they are. Like, they don't even think about the jersey.
So
I don't even care. Man,
killing you.
I don't even care who's on the other side. I don't give it. Oh, what team is it today? I don't give a shit. I get in the bus and I get out of the bus.
I think that's it.
You know, it's like,
no, I'm being dead serious. I think that's it.
I don't give a shit who I'm playing. I get in the bus. I get out of the bus. I don't care where I am. Y'all know what I'm here for. Y'all know why I'm here.
I think that's the.
That's the secret.
Yep.
I bet so. Wonder what the secret is to living in the state of South Carolina, being an Alabama fan after that loss. Wonder what the secret of that is.
What do you think Nick Saban's thinking right now?
Right this second, he is probably having a nightmare of Tua Tagovailoa saying, "I got this, coach." I believe that's why he went back on the field. I believe Tua convinced Nick Saban that he had this. I've made a mistake. I can fix this. You think Nick Saban can be talked into anything? Probably not.
No, but that's what he's gone with all year, and that's what he's going to stick with. And I don't think he was going to.
He was too, like you said, proud.
Yeah.
He was too proud to not go that route.
Yeah, to not go that route after halftime, because if you went a different route at halftime, it's like conceding.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my original game plan sucked. We're getting the doors blown off. Let me, flip the script on them again. Because they'll never expect it.
But then what if he flips the script on and wins? Would he rather just lose on his own terms than win on that one? Is that what it comes down to?
Were the other two Lady Luck?
No. Dude, there ain't nothing lucky about that. That's just ball. It's been the going rate for like how many years now? I don't think that's luck.
Just the Tua substitution and then the Jalen substitution during the SEC championship. Like both of them
I will
were
say
like
this.
very like happenstance.
Nick Saban did say, if I could have got to Tua before he called that play, I would have called a different play. He said he would have never got a chance to throw that ball to win the championship against Georgia. So, I guess.
And then he said his happiest was during that because he had coached them, but he didn't coach them that moment.
Yeah, he was like...
I felt like I had done my job.
Yeah, I had created great football players.
Right. Then in the SEC thing this year...
But Jalen just came in and did...
Jalen came in, and you can't coach that. So those two biggest moments are uncoachable moments.
Yep. Can't coach that. I still feel like Jalen deserved to go in at halftime.
He did.
I feel like he deserved to go in at half. He earned it. He did. He sat on the bench. He didn't complain. He never said a negative word about the program, about Nick Saban, about his decision. He never said a single word about any of that. He deserved to be in the game. He deserved to be in the game at halftime.
I'm a 5-star out of the state of Mississippi. Where do I go?
Do you think he's going to go to Ole Miss and beat us, or Mississippi State and beat us?
I'm talking about just me in a hypothetical.
Oh, you're a 5-star athlete out of Mississippi?
Yep. D-line.
Alabama?
Why? Clemson's been putting out D linemen like it's their
I mean,
too.
I will say this: the championship game. You're asking a Bama fan. I'm going to say Alabama anyway because it doesn't like Clemson. You go to Clemson and you have a chance to make it in the NFL. If you go to Alabama, you will make it to the NFL.
No, it depends on what position. Let's get real now. They've become like wide receiver university.
If you can get in at Alabama,
they've turned out one a year. Clemson will turn out 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
But
I'm just saying, if you can get in at Alabama, you will be.
Clemson has like 2 or 3 hot receivers a year at this point in time.
Yeah.
Now, I don't talk about recruits coming in. I'm talking about people coming out.
Yeah, well, I mean.
So, their wide receiver.
I don't know who that one kid is with the one arm. Jesus.
They're
that guy.
They become a wide receiver you. They've got defensive linemen the last few years stacked up. That's what Alabama has. They've put out like big, long, strong backs
Yeah.
Like a teen, like not necessarily built like Mark Ingram, like 5'8", like bowling balls, like
Yeah.
6'2", 220, 230 kind of backs, like a teen or whatever.
ETN could be.
ETN.
Could he be better than
there you go.
CJ Spiller? If he stays one more year.
Gallman's pretty good.
Travis, is that
The
guy?
dude's playing for New York. That was who's part of their last championship. He's all right. He's good. Like he's a big bat. Like he's big. He can catch out of the backfield. He's big. He's kind of big and not necessarily like he's big and long in the sense where you don't want to get his knees fucked up
Yeah.
because that's what happens with taller running backs. It seems. Just because you're lanky-ish,
Yeah.
and bowling and running backs that are shaped like bowling balls seem to do well.
Yeah.
Like
They just move.
they just move and drop in the head and shoulder pads, and you're never getting to their legs to begin with.
Yep.
And that's why they stay healthy.
That's
Guys
very
who are
true.
taller, they're getting the legs cut out from under, and they always wind up with leg issues at some point in time. It just is what it is.
See, Clemson is definitely part of that conversation now. Have been over the last couple of years.
And with the
But-
quarterback situation, they've got
With the
Humble
quarterback
for 2
situation,
more
there-
years,
if
man.
you're a 5-star back defensive player, I'm still gonna say Alabama, just because that's a guaranteed. If you go there and you do your job, and not if you go there and you get accepted to play football for the University of Alabama, that's almost like a stamp of approval for the NFL. Like this means that this player is good at what they do. And yeah, Clemson is part of that conversation now, but
Okay.
I'm still going to say Alabama just because
Shift
I'm
gears
a
one quick
fan.
second. And I know you're going to share your favoritism, and I'm a graduate of a South Carolina or SEC school. But did this do anything to legitimize the ACC?
No, because Clemson is fucking head and shoulders above everybody else in the ACC.
So you're not even equating this to even a conference strength.
No, because who else is in the ACC that's competing? Or is anybody?
There's teams in the ACC that put up just as good a fight as Alabama did.
Oh yeah, against Clemson.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, are we
I mean,
just
we
going to
could
give
get
this
in-
a bad
we
game?
could- no,
that
we
Alabama
could-
had a
no,
bad
We
game?
could get into that. We could get into that stupid argument of, well, South Carolina only lost by 21.
Yeah, I mean that's just true.
And I had that. It's like, yeah, of course the South Carolina fan will say that. But does it legitimize the ACC at all? Like,
I
you have
think.
to say it has to.
I mean,
Granted,
maybe.
they rolled over everybody except for a couple teams.
but Clemson did. Clemson is part of the ACC.
You all rolled over everyone too.
But yeah, exactly, we did. But who else in the SEC is beating everybody? Who else in the SEC is doing anything
Virginia
outside of
kicked
Alabama?
the shit out of South Carolina and or whatever that is.
I mean, LSU almost lost to UCF.
UCF has gone undefeated for the last 2 years, and they'd lost. If UCF would have had their starting quarterback, they might have beat.
They would have beat LSU. They
Right.
would have beat them.
Like they did that with a backup quarterback.
I'm
which
saying,
isn't
like-
bad at all.
The same thing I'm saying about the ACC, though, is the same thing I'm saying about the SEC with Alabama. Like, outside of Alabama, who's doing anything in the SEC over the last, say, 5 years, outside of Auburn? Once.
Georgia wants to pretend.
Georgia, yeah,
All
I'll
they do
give.
is
I'll,
beat- all
okay,
Georgia
I'll
does
give
is-
Georgia that.
No,
but,
no. Don't give Georgia that.
But
Georgia plays you all good for a half. Yay. Georgia rolls over a bunch of teams in the East that don't mean shit.
yeah,
Who
that's
they beat? Who
Yeah.
they beat? South Carolina.
Kentucky.
Our South Carolina is like the team that they got to watch out for.
Yeah,
Kentucky, as of the last year,
Yeah.
like Kentucky has like one good year, and they've got to like watch out for Kentucky. Like if you've got to watch out for Kentucky or South Carolina, you don't deserve to be in the top 4 game. Like, let's get fucking serious.
yeah.
If you're not kicking the dog shit out of South Carolina, you don't need to be in a top 4 game. And I'm a South Carolina fan. Like, let's just get real.
See, here's the thing. That's why I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about the conference. The conference championship is almost like a bowl game.
No, the conference
it's
championship
almost
should
like
be
a-
the first level of the playoffs.
Yeah, but
It is.
like, unfortunately, You get teams like Notre Dame that will get just.
A pass because they're not in one. They should be in the Big Ten.
Well, I think I had this idea that the best team out that's not in the conference championship, like the best team who did not make their conference championship, should be Notre Dame's conference championship. Like your best first man out, basically.
But that's only if Notre Dame's like undefeated. If Notre
Yeah,
Dame's
that's
not
if they
undefeated,
deserve
they'll never
it. If
make
they,
it.
yeah, that's if they deserve it. But I mean, I don't even know what you would do otherwise.
Just put them in a conference, give them exclusive rights, like to a TV station, if that's what they want. Whatever. Just like simplify it. But they place their schedule 3 years out. I get it. Like you can't predict that some teams are going to be good, some teams are going to be bad. Like normally SoCal is good, SoCal is bad. You know, so you question their strength of schedule.
Is that because all the West Coast players are coming east? All their 5-star athletes.
I just don't know if, like, this isn't, like, maybe they're just not built the same way. There's not the same style of game.
Or the game, the game's changing around.
Well, the game's just, they've always ran like a loose, like, West Coast has always been like flag football. And still, when it gets down to it, it gets down to like the trenches.
Yeah.
And you'll back to what Alabama should do is 4 yards in a cloud of dust. And that's what like Southeast football has always been known for. Like you got receivers and you got some dudes who can throw, but Southeast Conference never really has been known for quarterbacks.
Never.
Let's get real. Like you might have Peyton
The last
Manning,
one was
like,
Joe Namath. Yeah, I mean,
like Peyton Manning, Eli, if you want to put it that way. If you want to talk about someone within a quarterback, we're talking about throwing, not like 4 yards in a cloud of dust, or you'd be like Tim Tebow, the greatest quarterback of all of college football.
yeah,
Like
who he was.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at what they accomplished, it's 4 yards in a cloud of dust. No matter what you want to like, that and a stud defense that just like will knock your helmet off.
Yeah,
It's SEC football, man.
it
That's the
is.
one thing. While where you get SEC gets their namesake.
Yeah, that's where you get your. Yeah, that's where you get your reputation. But do you have that reputation anymore? Florida ain't doing it.
The
Auburn
East
hasn't been doing it.
East isn't keeping up.
The East hasn't done it in a few years.
Other than Georgia.
Here's the thing. For the sake of the sport, I don't even want to fucking say this. For the sake of the sport, South Carolina needs to beat us again when we go to Columbia this year. If the SEC wants to be relevant again.
No, or would that just look like you all are beat up?
Yeah, it would. It would suck. It would suck for a year.
But so you want Alabama to have a down year?
No, I don't want Alabama to have a down year. That would make me sound like a crazy person. I'm not a crazy person.
You want to go 11-1
I am
with
a
a
crazy
loss
person.
to South Carolina.
For the well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
With a questionable, not even a good South Carolina team. Like, let's just get real. You all
No.
lost to South Carolina the first time with Marcus Lattimore and Steven Garcia and Alshon Jeffrey, I think.
Yeah.
Like, let's get real. All three of them were studs.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people on defense, Jadavian and Ingram.
Yeah.
Melvin Ingram.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. If we, and I say that, and I don't even like that, but for the sake of if the SEC wants to be relevant again, Alabama needs to be handled.
and DJ Swearinger and Captain Mutterland.
Yeah.
That
That list keeps going.
South Carolina was DBU for a minute. I hate to say Stephen Gilmore because I don't know.
Yeah. Well.
Can't build that championship on him.
I mean, if the SEC wants to be relevant again, then Alabama has to be dethroned as that juggernaut. And is, or not necessarily dethrone, but somebody needs to beat Alabama if that's he wants to be relevant again. Well, or not even necessarily. Somebody just in the East needs to rise up. The SEC championship should be something that's like a tough deal. And like, granted, that Georgia, Tennessee's got that Lane Kiffin curse that won't ever heal.
It's like they're Michigan. Tennessee is Michigan to me.
I said that to somebody the other day, that Lane Kiffin, that Tennessee hasn't been right ever since Lane Kiffin did them that way. And I feel like Tennessee has a different, like, because Lane Kiffin was he was a decent recruiter. I believe that everything that he's had, every negative thing that's happened in his career has all stemmed back to him just really screwing Tennessee. Like, that's the curse of the Bambino for him. But somebody just needs to rise up. Just like I've been saying, everybody wants to complain about it always being Alabama, always being Clemson. Beat us.
It would be interesting. There was one third team that came out that was just like beast-like. But
let it be UCF.
They had that quarterback this year. It would have been interesting to see what they did.
If there was another team that was going to come out and just be a beast, I wouldn't mind seeing Michigan do well. Bring that program back. I think Michigan might own the record for the most modern championships.
Does it matter if they beat Ohio State next year?
I think it has to matter in any case.
It matters, but
you don't really know.
It's not Urban Meyer at Ohio State.
Yeah, it's not. If they do beat them, then that will always be the asterisk next to it that it was the first rebuilding year. That this one didn't really count. But either way, that maybe Urban Meyer stepping out of Ohio State does allow Michigan to step up and be that juggernaut and get the seat at the table. Maybe it was like Ohio State's just been cock blocking against this girl that Michigan's been trying to hook up with for years, and now they're not in the picture anymore, so Michigan can step in. Is
Michigan better than Penn State?
Yes, I think. I mean, dude, Michigan has the recruitment power of a dude saying, "Hey, I played in a Super Bowl." Or, hey, I took a team to the Super Bowl. You want to come and play for me? Not only that, I took Colin Kaepernick to the Super Bowl. Come play for me.
Okay. When's the next time the Big Ten wins a national championship?
Well, anybody who's going to stand a chance of winning a championship is going to have to either go through Clemson or Alabama.
When's the next time the Big Ten wins a national championship?
I don't know. If we have an off year next year, which I suspect we're going to have an off year coming up soon, I don't know if it'll be within Nick Saban's tenure. I don't see him coming back next year and losing a lot. We probably won't lose to South Carolina. It's a possibility, but probably won't.
Ooh, let me ask this. If Nick Saban comes back next year and doesn't win, how long would Nick Saban go without winning before Nick Saban retired?
I think he'd finish out his contract. I don't know, maybe because, hell, he's 67 now?
How long would he go? Would he go 2 years? 3 years?
I think it's the needle. I think he'll Joe Pod his shit, maybe.
God, really?
No. No, not really. I said that. So. I don't believe that. I believe he'll step out of the game when he still can go and do shit with his life.
Would he end on a championship?
I think he has to go out big.
I think he would have to.
I think he has to go out big. At this point, you're Nick Saban. You can't have a couple of shit years and then scoot off.
If he were to win next year.
If he were to win next year and feel like, okay, this is last opportunity, then I might have to walk away from the game. I wouldn't. Dude, I've already gotten more than any fan could ask for out of his tenure as coach already.
Or okay, let me ask this. With magical situations being what they are, does the Alabama dynasty only last as long as Nick Saban is there? As we know it right now. Like, not saying that you won't remerge from the ashes and whatever.
The
but
Phoenix.
I'm talking about, like, right now as it is, this string, there's no way that, like, he could step away and it just continue along as a smooth machine of whipping ass.
Well, I think that Nick Saban has been looking for a long time for that coach to take under his wing and say, I want to hand this program off to you. And I think that he has been interviewing coaches for this job over and over and over, and he hasn't found his man yet. Dude.
David don't want that job. I don't want that job for. He's got a better job. He gets paid.
He don't get paid more. Nobody gets paid more in Alabama than Nick Saban. He makes the most.
Jim Harbaugh.
Does Jim Harbaugh make more than Nick Saban now? Nick Saban is the highest paid government official in Alabama.
Spurrier was the highest paid
In South Carolina?
while he was here. I don't know. I'm sure Dabo is now,
But seriously, though, Dabo is creating his own dynasty in Clemson, but he did graduate from the University of Alabama. He played football at Alabama. If he has the opportunity to take over, like, it's like you've got this sweet 2018 Corvette that you've always drove, and it's badass, man. It's brand new. But Dad,
You're right. Saban.
yeah, Dad has got this sick 19.
Urban Meyer was number 2 at 7'6". Jim Harbaugh was number 3 at 7'5".
Yeah.
Saban was at number 1 with 8'3".
Yep. And I think he's got 5 more years on that contract.
But I think Harbaugh had a huge bonus. I think that's what that was saying. Harbaugh had some gigantic bonus that if he would have,
Yeah.
it could have made him.
But the story could end that Dabo's like, aw shucks, I appreciate the offer, but I made Clemson my home. And I believe that could happen. He could say, I've made Clemson my home, but the fact is he played football at Alabama. And
He won rings.
he won rings at Clemson. He won rings in 92 in
I was
Alabama.
going to say he won a ring in Alabama.
He won his first ring in Alabama. He got that first feeling of a championship in his blood in that crimson jersey.
He's going to stay.
Number 88.
He can he's going to stay long enough until Hunter Renfrow can become a head coach at Clemson.
So next year, he's 100. Renfro's like 100. He's like
He'll stay
our
long
age.
enough for Hunter Renfrow to have a long, fruitful career with New England.
Dude, Hunter Renfrow, what if he went to Carolina?
What would he do there?
You got Christian McCaffrey and Hunter Renfrow, and then Cam Newton,
To get rid of Cam Newton.
and put Hunter Renfrow at quarterback.
No, to get rid of. Okay. Cam Newton sucks next year.
Cam Newton sucks every year.
Okay. Cam Newton sucks next year.
Yep.
Hypothetical. Trade Cam Newton while he still has a lot of trade value. Tank the next season.
Get you a pick.
You've traded Cam Newton for a high number 1 pick
Yeah.
to start off with. You tank the next season. So then you have 2 high number 1 picks. You trade those 2 high 1 picks for Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence has to come 80 miles up the fucking road.
Yeah, he can go see his parents.
He can go hang out. Yeah, he can do whatever. And you possibly have what might be if prodigy, whatever, the prodigal son kind of thing. If not, then you sell a bunch of tickets, and you're not going to do any worse than you did with Cam Newton.
Trevor Lawrence, in the way too early poll, I'll give Trevor Lawrence in the way too early poll. By what I've seen in the national championship game against the best defense in the league besides Michigan.
To be 19 years old, or however old he is.
Greatest college football quarterback of all time.
It's
in the way too early poll.
Way too early, but for
greatest
his age
college
and what
football quarterback of all time.
All season long, impressive. That's a complete understatement, the most insane shit.
Yeah.
Just cool. But you can see how teams will start to strategize. That's one right there.
Yeah. Whatever they're doing in Clemson is working.
Yep.
I fucking hate to say it, but whatever they're doing in Clemson, and they're all talking about God and talking about they're keeping their hope in God.
Purple Kool-Aid right now.
Keeping their hope in God and praying before the games and just being the good. They're literally taking this. What's that?
Let the light within you shine brighter than the light that is shone upon you.
There you go. There's a good finish right there.
That's it.
That's a good finish. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got some surprise content for you. Oh, by the way, YouTubers. Oh, whoa, watch out with that. It'll your feedback bad enough.
Not bad.
No, you're good. We ain't quite there yet.
Like a rock show without a little feedback.
Yeah. By the way, YouTubers, you've noticed I've moved my record player from over here to over there. The record player's still here. It's just moved differently. Trying to declutter a little bit, and I didn't really do much today because I did a podcast and then obviously another one. And I just watched that movie, the Megalodon movie. Just very, very, very. It's just like you would think. Just imagine how you think the movie would go. It went like that. It went like that. So yeah. That being said, been moving some things around, whatnot. You're going to be seeing different things coming around. I'm going to be curtaining up all this stuff to try to get rid of some of the background noise and whatnot. But anyway, YouTubers, stick around with me for just a second. Let me do this intro and click the links at the bottom of the page. And as for audio people, go watch the YouTube video so you can click all those links at the bottom of the page and get the bonus content that you missed from the beginning of this episode. So I guess that's all I got for you right now. Be good people. In a world full of shitty people, don't be one of those people. Be a good person. Peace, bitches. All right, let me do an intro. Hang tight with me, YouTubers. Hey, guys, how you living? You doing well? Good. Glad to hear that. So in this surprise sports talk, me and Brother Asher from episode 1, actually, and I can't even believe I didn't say this throughout the entire recording of the podcast. As of the 9th, which technically right now would have been day before yesterday, was the official 1-year anniversary of MI Stuff. But our actual 1-year anniversary of when this was a sports talk was back in June or July of last year. So we recorded the first episode and then went months and months and months and didn't record another one. This was just a dormant account for a while before I picked it back up and started doing the MI Stuff. But when I started doing MI Stuff was 1 year ago as of the 9th. So that being said, we made it. It's our 1-year anniversary officially, and I had forgotten to mention anything about that. So when I realized that, we were talking about sports, and I was like, we may as well go ahead and get the national championship talk out of the way and clear the air because Alabama lost to Clemson in an epic fashion, and I was pretty fucking embarrassed over that. So anyway, wanted to give our take on that, and that's that. Anywho, that's for you, Timmy Pierce. You get that? Anywho. So please Go to Facebook, click like on the MI Stuff page on Facebook. Go to Instagram, click follow. Go to Twitter and click follow. Go to YouTube and type in Kelsey Hudgens, KELSEYHUDGINS, and click subscribe. You can also search MI Stuff on YouTube and click subscribe on the channel. Please, trying to get the subscriptions up so that we can get this good word out to the rest of the world. Recycle your plastics. Don't be a dickhead. What else do I got? That might be all I got for you as far as intro wise. Do that. Listen to this episode. I think we kept it semi short for a guest episode. So anyway, let's see here. Yep, that's all I got for you. So without further ado, episode number 14 of Sports Talk featuring Asher Robinson. Enjoy, motherfuckers. All right, YouTubers, click the link at the bottom of the page. They're not there right now if you're watching live. They will be there shortly, so please click the links at the bottom of the page. I love you. Be good people. Be good people.